Hi YouTube viewers, welcome back. As promised, this is the stem of Hygrophilia pinnitifada that I took out of the aquarium, and if you notice, the stalk is quite evident on it, and I'm going to trim it off and show you how I do the cuttings. Now this particular piece came from the section that I showed you in the aquarium, and I'm going to clip it off real quick, just a moment. So, as I said before, this plant really adapts very well, and it is easy to replant from cuttings. I noticed that it doesn't develop any aerial roots, but it does root very easily, and so, you know, it makes it very easy to obtain cuttings from. Now, and also new plants develop from the old leaf nodes, so it's a pretty easy plant to grow from cuttings. Now this one I've trimmed quite a few leaves off, and I'll show you. So as you can tell, I trimmed quite a few leaves off, and so really this particular cutting is ready to be replanted. Now I don't have a spot for it in the other aquarium that I took it from, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant this particular stem in a little mini planter that I'm going to place in another aquarium, and then once it takes root, it'll be what they consider a mother plant. Okay, so but you can get a real good look at the leaves and see that it's an excellent plant. Now I'm going to show you a spot where I removed another cutting from in the aquarium, and it actually has already started to root back, and new plantlets are emerging from the cut stem. Now keep in mind that I cut this stem off and left the bottom portion in the gravel, so you know, it may look unsightly for a while, but after a while it'll start sending out plantlets, and I'll show you that happened. I cut this one I think about 2 weeks ago, so you'll be able to see what happens to the stem that remains in the gravel once you do this cutting. So bear with me while I move over to the aquarium. As I said, this plant really roots very easily in the gravel, and so, you know, it really makes for a guys, if I don't ever learn how to work this camera, sorry about that. I mean, I feel like one of the Three Stooges working the camera. But if you look at that small cutting there in the foreground, you'll see that the plant itself, now this was cut about 2 weeks ago, and I'll try to focus in on it for you. And as you can see, the plant is already sending out new leaves that, and actually it sent out from each little node where I cut off a leaf. You can see the new leaves forming. So don't worry too much about the plant that you leave in the aquarium if you decide to do it that way. It also grows a small rhizome, so you can cut that similar to microsorghum species, but I found it's just as easy to just go ahead and cut the stem and let this plant grow back out. It's really easy to do, and the plant that I cut is right here. Now you notice that now you're able to see the full piece of driftwood, whereas before you couldn't really see it. It was being blocked by the Hygrophilia. So I wanted that piece of driftwood to be exposed, so what I did was I just went ahead and cut that tip off. Now I did leave the stem in the gravel, so eventually it will grow back out. So I'm sorry about the bad camera work, guys, but I've never had that to happen before, and I suppose once I learn how to edit my videos correctly, I'll be able to edit out all those Three Stooges moments. But at any rate, I think you get the idea. So the plant is really easy to grow, and as I said, you know, if you really want a nice, easy plant that grows very easily with a little bit of effort, then my suggestion is the Hygrophilia pinnitifada, because it really is a simple plant to propagate, a simple plant to grow. Just follow a few minor things, and it's really low maintenance. The reason I was attracted to it, because I really don't have to do a whole lot to it. That little simple procedure took about 5 minutes to start a new stem, and essentially once that's rooted, it'll be a mother plant, so it'll send out runners. So it's really an easy plant to propagate as well as to grow, and low maintenance, so you don't have to do a lot with it. I mean, it doesn't require trimming like Rotala or some of the Ludwigias. And to me, in my opinion, it's one of the most beautiful Hygrophilias that's come around. In the old days, we used to have Hygrophilia polysperma, I believe is what it was called, and that was one of the few plants that we had back in the 70s that we could grow without the high-tech stuff that currently is available in the aquarium hobby now. But if we'd had this plant, I think a lot of guys would have been attracted to it as much as I have. So I just wanted to give you guys a brief explanation as to how I grow Hygrophilia pinnitifada, and hopefully you'll be able to acquire some and see how easy it really is. There's a couple of guys out there that do have them, and I want to give a shout out to Conrad at BDC. He's always commenting on my channel, but he has this particular plant, and so I wanted to make sure that I did this video to show how I propagate the plant. Again, if you want it to grow as an epiphyte, you'll need to fertilize the water column, and as I said, it loves potassium and it loves iron. So as long as you include those macroelements in your fertilization regime, then you shouldn't have any problem growing this plant. Once again, guys, thanks for viewing, and enjoy your aquarium.